Alrighty, here's our job for today. We're going to be taking out these concrete block, it's not concrete block, but these little concrete stepping stones that go around to the door, and that's going to become part of we're going to come off that drive parallel with the fence and create a parking pad here, so the owner can just come in, pull right in, and we're going to extend the gravel all the way to the door around the corner there and have a gravel sidewalk. And then over here, we just had to relay it out a little bit because it was a little bit closer to the septic field than I wanted. So we just relayed it out by about 5 feet. Make sure we had plenty of buffer. More than enough, I think, but we had to be far enough off the tree because this is going to be a parking pad for an RV. So we want to be far enough off the trees so that they can open the pop-ups and stuff and not get into the trees. So it's about 20 feet wide by about 50 foot deep. And we'll widen out the mouth here so they can come in and back in and get in and out real easy. And then we're coming on here to the backyard. And fortunately, the fence got put in before we did this, because we would have gone with the sidewalk over here. But we're doing a sidewalk from the drive. The right of it's going to be where that flag is, and it's going to tie in where it used to be. So, and that's going to go all the way on to the back of the ramp back there. Just a gravel sidewalk, and should be not overly difficult with for the mini skid steer here. And so that's what we're looking at for today's job. I gotta park the trailer on the road there so we can get in and out with the dump truck, and we'll knock this out. All right, we're having some technical difficulties today with tripods and wind and stuff like that. But what we did here is coming in off the road, allow them to pull up, fans out up there, fans out right here so they can pull in, pull out. We cut all that topsoil out and tracked it in real good. And I mean, really, this stuff's hard as a rock. Once we got rid of that topsoil, this stuff underneath is hard as a rock. We're going to add base to the top of this. So we moved the dirt pile there. Some of the dirt we put over there in the low spot, we're going to grade that out because they've got a little fire pit. So we want to make sure they got a nice even area that doesn't collect water. And so next we're going to run the load of base that I got in the truck here, and then I'm going to load that dirt up in the dump truck once we have that base there, and we'll load up the dirt and try to get as much as we can in the dump truck and haul it off. And then I'll just use that. I'm filling in an old pond so on our house, and you know, so we'll just use that dirt and throw it in there. The neighbor wanted it, but it's got all that gravel mixed in with it, and so I didn't think they would want that in their yard. So we're just going to haul it off and dump it at our house right now and put that in the pond when I have a chance. But that's what we have for now. We got that knocked out, took the stones away, and so I'm going to get a different camera so we can get some more footage on this job, and hopefully we won't have technical difficulties with that one as well. So such is the life. So we're going to tailgate this real quick, and then I'm going to go back and get another load of base. less thundering. Hope you can hear that over the machine, but it's getting close. So there's a parking pad, about 20 feet wide, about 50 feet. And we cut down the sub base to rock hard solid surface. We were, as a matter of fact, the power rake wasn't liking it too much. It was hopping around because it was so hard. So it's kind of like hitting rock almost. So we had a low spot right there that was, you could tell where it was raining, it was retaining water. So we took some of the sub base, it's actually topsoil. We stripped the topsoil off to the sub, and it didn't take but like 2 inches maybe, and we were down to a good subgrade or sub base. We went back over with ABC and tailgated that, and then spread it and compacted it in. And after we compacted, we tailgated this with 57 stone to top dress it. So there, we just kind of power raked that out and got it nice and as even as possible. And so hopefully they won't have a puddle. They got a little fire pit there, and they won't have puddles or anything like that. Over here, we're doing the spreading out the last 57 on this parking pad. I'll come back here while he's working on that. Here we had to cut out a little bit under the fence because the fence was so low. So in order for us to put the 57 stone there, we had to cut some of that out. So we did a nice gravel walkway back here, all the way to the deck. And our septic tank's right there, so we had to be really careful back in here. And I almost took my head off in the tree. So I think we've been disturbing the dog who's been here by himself all day. He's standing there at the back door barking at me. But we got a good gravel pathway going back in here. Now, had we done this before the fence been in, we would have actually done the pathway there. So that is the gate that opens. That one stays permanently closed unless you lift up that little doohickey on the bottom. It's a technical term. So wide. We did 12 and then 4 for a little path or sidewalk. And we took up all those pavers. You saw that at the beginning. And that's stone, but it's just got some base mixed in with it. Some fines from that. It'll wash out. And then here's our pathway that comes around to the other door. And we didn't compact this, we compacted the base, but we didn't compact the grade, just because it looks better when you're done. And this is just for foot traffic here. So he's getting this graded out. We're going to get a rake and kind of fine tune some of the bare spots and make sure we're nice and crisp and clean going around. So he's going to park that for now. We'll get the rest of it with a rake. Well, that's a wrap on this project. Sorry we didn't get more footage. The GoPro's not recording very long. I don't know why, so we're gonna have to check that, figure what's going on there. And we're getting ready to load up and get out of here before we get stormed on. Y'all have a good one. All right, so I'm back out on the project that I just finished on the video on, and I'll show you the problem that we had, the customer had, and show you the picture there. But it stems from, you got the ditch coming down through here, and there's absolutely no culvert pipe. I think there's supposed to be one about right there, maybe, but as you can see, there's not one there. So any and all rainwater that comes this way just backs up and it starts to filter out that way, and there's nowhere for the water to go. So when we put in this parking pad, we raised it up. There's a crown here in the center going back this way. But I got the laser out yesterday and came out here and checked it, and I've got a flag right there, and I've got a flag back right there. And in between these two flags, there is a little bit of a saddle. So they've got a low spot here in the yard that collects water. It all comes down this way and collects right there. And that side collected because there's nowhere for the water to go. So we had such a rainstorm that it actually came across a section right here, and you'll see that in the picture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel back the 57 stone, and I've got my measurements on there. Between the two flags is 24 feet. You're about 15 feet wide, and we're going to raise this section up. So it's only going to take about 4 tons of base, and just do that as a repair for the customer. In a sense, it is a little bit low right there, and you couldn't tell that when it was done, but now that it's kind of all settled out and everything, and after the rainstorm, you can see it. So we're going to bring this right here, and the road and everything is on the same level as that back there, and then there's just a little bit of a saddle we're going to fill in. So that's what we're working on getting done today. So I'm going to get some video here of us just going to use the grading bucket and kind of pull the rock back to that area. Then we're just going to dump the base in a pile right here and spread that out, track it in and compact it, and then spread our 57 back over the top of it, and that'll have them nice and level all the way across. And now we're trying to look out for, if you can see these things right here, walnuts. I don't know what kind of seed that is, but you can hear them hitting the ground all around us. It sounds like it would hurt to get hit in the head with those things, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on those. So that's what we got going. Alrighty, well that was easy enough. We got the material raked back as much as I can. That won't pull out too much of the base that existed there. We're gonna dump about 4 tons right there and kind of build this back up in this area right here, and then we'll rake the rock back on there. We'll track it and compact it in first, and then we'll rake the rock back up on top of it and kind of neaten everything up before we leave. So get ready to head to the quarry and get some stone. We need to get a gimbal. Needing some ABC today. Yeah. 4 tons.
I don't know how usable this is gonna be.
Do what?
I said I don't know.
Thank you, sir. You have a good weekend. Alrighty, well that's 4 tons of base right there. So it don't look like much, but that's 4 tons. When you got that the fines mixed in with it, and it's actually rained a little bit yesterday, so that's good because this is nice and moist, so it'll compact down good. So now all we got to do is just kind of spread it out here. We'll get some video of that next. And that's a wrap. We compacted that in. I left the laser up. I didn't get no video of it. You don't want to sit there and just listen to that thing beep. And I just went right down the middle and confirmed. Had a couple high spots in there, but literally if I tilted the bubble, you got a little bubble that's in a circle there that lets you know that you're plumb and level and all that good stuff. And you know, when I just tilted it slightly and just the edge of the bubble would get outside of the line, it would be right on spot. So I mean, I was less than a 1/4 inch high or 1/8 of an inch high, I would say, on any of it. So all of that was within 1/8 of an inch of each other, and nice and level. And in the center, it's actually higher than the edges, so it crowns off to both sides to allow water to shed. And now we're significantly higher than this ground that we were at the start. So I mean, you can tell it's a lot higher than what it was. So that should take care of the customer. And when that backs up and floods this area, it's not going to come across his pad. And when the water comes down here and kind of floods this area, it's just going to stay in the grass on the edges. And then he's going to be able to walk in and out of his RV without walking in water. So if they keep having issues with the flooding part of it, we may have to talk about putting in a culvert pipe for him and installing some drainage and taking it. But this is so flat. I mean, we would have to go down there almost to the stop sign, I think, to get positive flow, to get some good drainage here if we did catch basins and stuff like that. So that's another job wrapped up. And like I said, this one was a callback where it rained an ungodly amount of rain. I mean, it was like Noah's Ark flooding type stuff. And he had a strip, you saw the picture, a strip of water just going across the edge there. So that's no longer a low spot. And you know, he's all situated, and he'll be ready to pull in here with his RV when he gets in town. All right, y'all have a good one.